Hi and welcome to Quick Start ArcGIS Enterprise with Automation. I'm Chris, and in this video I'll be showing you some of the automation tools available to quick start your ArcGIS Enterprise deployments. I'll discuss how and why you would use these tools, their advantages and limitations, so you can decide which tool is best for you. There are a number of tools available to automate your ArcGIS Enterprise deployments, and this session will focus on 5 of those tools. These tools are ArcGIS Enterprise Builder, ArcGIS Cloud Builder for Amazon Web Services, ArcGIS Cloud Builder for Azure, Chef, and PowerShell DSC. ArcGIS Enterprise Builder is a simple, wizard-driven tool to deploy a base ArcGIS Enterprise. That's all the components of ArcGIS Enterprise, portal, server, data store, and web adapters on a single machine. It's by far the easiest way to deploy ArcGIS Enterprise. The 2 cloud builders for Azure and AWS are also wizard-driven tools, but behind the scenes they employ predefined machine images hosted in their respective cloud platforms to quickly deploy ArcGIS Enterprise in various patterns. Chef and PowerShell DSC are your script-based options for deployment. They involve the use of configuration files to drive scripts behind the scenes to deploy highly customized, complex ArcGIS Enterprise patterns. So when should you use these tools? For simple on-premise deployments, you should be looking to use ArcGIS Enterprise Builder whenever possible. This will quickly and reliably install a base deployment of ArcGIS Enterprise. If you're looking to deploy in the cloud, in AWS or Azure, you should be considering the cloud tools available for their respective platforms. ArcGIS Enterprise Cloud Builder for AWS and ArcGIS Enterprise Cloud Builder for Azure are simple-to-use tools to deploy directly into your cloud subscription. Finally, for more complex on-premise deployments, you should be thinking about using the script-based tools Chef and PowerShell DSC. ArcGIS Enterprise Builder sets up a base ArcGIS Enterprise deployment on a single machine. It's simple to use with very little interaction. You fill in a few options and let ArcGIS Enterprise Builder make all the other decisions. All you need to get started is the Enterprise Builder software and your enterprise license files. There are 2 steps to the tool. Step 1 installs ArcGIS Enterprise and Step 2 configures it. There's no scripting required, and the tool can be used to upgrade existing deployments if they were deployed using Enterprise Builder to begin with. However, it can only be used to deploy Enterprise on a single machine. You can't deploy any other pattern. You also have very little control over the configuration of Enterprise. You can choose the install directory, the web adapter names, and that's about it. With all that in mind, let's take a quick look at how ArcGIS Enterprise Builder works. You can download Enterprise Builder from your MyAzure account. It's found with the other ArcGIS Enterprise downloads for your chosen version. Once downloaded, just launch Enterprise Builder. There's no need to download any other software. It's all included. First, accept the terms and conditions. You can then choose the install directory for ArcGIS Enterprise. After that, you can supply your service account details for the account that will run all the ArcGIS services. This can be a local account, which doesn't need to exist already and will be created, or a domain account that does. You can then choose your web adapter names for both server and portal. Finally, browse to and select your ArcGIS server license file, which can be an ECP or PRVC file. When you're ready, begin the installation. After some time, your installation will be complete and you'll be guided to the browser to complete the configuration stage. Select your portal license file and then set your primary administrator details. Finally, choose the portal content directory and click Finish to run through the configuration. When the configuration finishes, ArcGIS Enterprise will be ready to use and you can browse directly to the homepage to sign in. So we've seen how to deploy ArcGIS Enterprise quickly and easily with Enterprise Builder. Let's take a look at the cloud options. Introduced at 10.7.1 was the new ArcGIS Enterprise Cloud Builder for AWS. Cloud Builder for AWS is built on top of the existing CloudFormation templates, providing a more user-friendly wizard interface for deploying ArcGIS Enterprise. To use Cloud Builder for AWS, you'll need an AWS account, your enterprise license files, and an SSL certificate. It supports all the common deployment patterns, including some high availability patterns. You can also use it to upgrade existing deployments, provided it was installed using Cloud Builder to begin with. However, you do require some understanding of the different components of AWS. As it's relatively new, it also doesn't support more complex deployment patterns. And for full automation, you would still be looking at using AWS CloudFormation and the command line interface. ArcGIS Enterprise Cloud Builder for Microsoft Azure is a wizard-driven tool to deploy ArcGIS Enterprise into Microsoft Azure. To get started, you'll need an Azure subscription, your license files, and an SSL certificate. It installs and configures Enterprise in a single step by deploying all the required Azure and ArcGIS components, so Enterprise is ready to go when the tool is finished. You can deploy on a single machine, multiple machines, and multiple tiers, enabling the option to deploy a range of patterns. However, some knowledge of Azure is required, for example, understanding regions and resource groups. Also, whilst a wizard-driven interface isn't particularly repeatable, you can export the deployment artifacts from Cloud Builder, and these can be used to script repeatable deployments. So let's take a look at how ArcGIS Enterprise Cloud Builder for Azure works. You can download Cloud Builder from your My Azure account. Once you've downloaded the builder and run it, the first thing you do is choose your server role. We're interested in ArcGIS Enterprise, but you also have options for various other types of standalone server. Choose your resource group, which can already exist. Choose your region and set your domain name. Browse to your two license files for ArcGIS Server and Portal. Set the credentials for the ArcGIS Enterprise Site Administrator and the service account. Set the credentials for the machine administrator. Optionally, choose the machine size from the image default and set your machine name. You can also enable remote desktop access. Choose which data stores to install. The relational data stores are installed by default. Choose a storage account for the deployment artifacts. This can already exist. Finally, choose a certificate if you have one, or you can deploy using the default self-signed certificate. You can then export all these settings as automation artifacts. These can then be used to automate future identical deployments. When you're ready, click Finish to run the deployment. After some time, your deployment will be complete. If you look in your Azure resource group within the Azure portal, you will see all the required Azure components have been created. You can then browse to your new ArcGIS Enterprise deployment in the browser and begin using it immediately. So we've seen how to use Cloud Builder for Azure to quickly deploy Enterprise in the cloud. Now let's take a look at the script-based tools. Chef is a configuration management tool that treats infrastructure as code. Esri hosts a set of Chef scripts on GitHub that can be used alongside configuration files to deploy ArcGIS Enterprise. There are different components of Chef, but the Esri Chef cookbooks focus on using Chef Client. Chef Client is a small application that must be installed on every machine in your deployment alongside the Chef cookbooks from GitHub. Chef can be used to deploy virtually any enterprise pattern you need, from base enterprise on a single machine to highly available enterprise across multiple servers. To get started, you'll need all the enterprise software in an accessible location, your ArcGIS Enterprise licenses, and your SSL certificate chain. Chef is extremely flexible due to the range of parameters you can provide in your configuration files, so you have a lot of control over the deployment. It also installs and configures Enterprise in a single step, so Enterprise is ready to go when the deployment is complete. It's also extremely repeatable. Once you're happy with your configuration, you can use your configuration file in other environments to achieve identical deployments. You can also use Chef to upgrade existing deployments if it was installed using Chef in the first place. However, it does still require some knowledge of enterprise components to configure the templates. You'll need to understand, at least at a high level, what each enterprise component does and how it fits within the deployment. Related to that, there's a learning curve to understand all the template parameters, but GitHub has a page which explains them all, and sample templates are also a great help. Also, something to consider is that third-party software often might not be an option for every organization. Another script-based option is PowerShell DSC. PowerShell DSC is a declarative platform enabling you to manage your infrastructure with configuration as code, allowing for consistent, repeatable deployments of ArcGIS Enterprise. Esri hosts a set of PowerShell DSC scripts on GitHub. To get started, just like Chef, you'll need the ArcGIS Enterprise media in an accessible location, your enterprise licenses, and the SSL certificate chain. PowerShell DSC allows you to deploy virtually any enterprise pattern. You can install and configure Enterprise in a single step from a single machine. This is extremely powerful for deploying complex enterprise patterns. It's also extremely repeatable. Like Chef, once you're happy with your configuration template, you can use it to deploy identical systems in different environments. There's no third-party software required to use it. PowerShell is built into Windows, and it can be used to upgrade existing deployments if they were installed using PowerShell DSC in the first place. However, just like Chef, it does still require some knowledge of enterprise components to configure the templates. And there's still a learning curve to understand all the template parameters. Again, you can find explanations for all the parameters on GitHub, along with a range of example configuration templates to get you started. It's also worth mentioning that, and this is the same for Chef, there is often a bit of trial and error when using the script-based tools. You will inevitably test a deployment using a configuration template, find something that hasn't worked, and tweak it. Be patient and you will be rewarded. So let's take a look at how PowerShell DSC works for you to deploy ArcGIS Enterprise. The first thing you need to do on one of your machines in the deployment is to download the ArcGIS module. For a connected environment, this can be done using the install module PowerShell command. For a disconnected environment, you can add the module from the resources on GitHub. If you have multiple machines in your deployment architecture, they all need the module. There are scripts available on GitHub you can use to push the module to all the other machines. Once the module is installed, it's always a good idea to check it's installed correctly using the get module list available command. If you've not already done so, configure your template. Use the examples on GitHub to get you started and add parameters as needed. Each software component has its own configuration block in the file. Once you're used to the structure of the file, it's quite easy to read and edit, but my advice is to get a good IDE to make it even easier. When you're happy with your configuration file, open PowerShell as an administrator. Run the configuration command, choosing your configuration file as a parameter. All this is explained on GitHub. After some time, your deployment will complete. When finished, browse to your deployment by opening the portal homepage in a browser and signing in. So, we've covered quite a lot in a short time. To summarize, there are various tools available to help you quickly build and automate your ArcGIS Enterprise deployments. ArcGIS Enterprise Builder is perfect when you want to quickly and reliably deploy a single machine all in one deployment. However, it's very limited. You can only deploy a base enterprise, and there are a few customization options. The cloud builders for Azure and AWS are perfect for deploying into the cloud. You can deploy multiple enterprise patterns and additional server roles. However, you're limited to the patterns supported by the builders, and you do need some understanding of your chosen cloud platform. Chef and PowerShell DSC are your Swiss Army knives for automated enterprise deployment. You can deploy virtually any enterprise pattern. The deployments are extremely repeatable across different environments, and you have complete control. However, you do need to know more about enterprise than you do with the other options. If you're interested in any of the tools, visit the resources on this slide to get started. Thank you for watching.